I'll just... Okay, so today I have Amy McClymont with me, who is one of my dearest friends that I've known since we were 3 years old. Used to live next to each other. Amy is very much accomplished in many ways, and one particular is academically. Amy is actually studying dentistry at the moment. So she's in her 4th year, and she also does a lot of other things on the side that I'm sure we'll hear about. The reason I wanted to interview Amy was because she is the queen of all things productivity, organisation, and I thought she'd be someone that would be really interesting to speak to. So hello, Amy.
Hi.
Do you want to tell me anything about yourself that maybe I've not mentioned, something interesting?
So at the moment we are just starting, so Glasgow Oral Health Improvement Society are doing an oral cancer awareness initiative. So that's something that we've just started up, and hopefully we're looking for Dundee and Aberdeen, like medics and dentists and everything to get involved. So if anyone's interested, just let us know.
What's it called? Or is it Oral Improvement Society, did you say?
So it's an oral cancer awareness initiative. Okay. So just basically getting young people, everyone kind of like teenagers, people in their 20s, just the awareness of like effects of like drinking and oral cancer and like early signs and symptoms. Because a lot of people haven't been able to get to a dentist recently, so it's really good to get the public aware of the symptoms.
That sounds so good. So what are just like some kind of symptoms that you would be kind of looking out for something like this for cancer in the mouth?
So a lot of the common places, or the most common places that we're kind of wary of, are the floor of your mouth and the sides of your tongues. So if you've got ulcers that don't go away, or like red or white patches that just appear and you've got no reason for them, and that kind of thing, or anyone who's a heavy smoker or heavy drinker, they're kind of risk factors as well.
Well, that sounds fun. Maybe you'll be plugging me into it, but I'm not really sure I would know very much about it or maybe be able to help. So yeah, I think what we'll do is just get straight into the organisation side of things. So the big thing for me that I thought of is that obviously you are, studying dentistry, which takes a lot of time, a lot of commitment, all these kind of things. And you also, like to maintain a social life, exercise, all these different things. So how do you balance this?
I think it's really important that you manage in downtime as well. Like dentistry really is like 9 to 5 constant. And then when you're not in the dental school, it's kind of like you're studying for when you're going to be in the dental school and doing like patients and things. So I kind of like to have like set days or set kind of chunks of time where I can get exercise in, or you always feel much better if you've had like a block of time where you've done exercise. You feel more productive when you come back to it and everything as well. So most of the time I just like to be prepared and know what I've got coming up, and it just makes me feel less anxious about what's going to be last minute and stuff.
So for example, say you knew something was coming up, how often would you like look at your timetable in advance? Is it like the night before, or like the week, or like the weekend? Do you look at things? How do you normally do it?
So a lot of the time I like to sit down on a Sunday. I love to-do lists. So like they always change as the week goes on.
Yeah, I love them as well. It's like a genuine problem, but yeah.
Yeah, like I'll change them and stuff as well as the week goes on, but it's just kind of a guide. Like, so I'll put all my study on as well, but I'll also put in like social events, so you know they're there. And I think it's really important to have that as well, and like not be too rigid about it. So like if I know I've got an event, like maybe the week before it, try and get more work done, so that then the days after the event, like, or the day of, I don't need to get as much done.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was gonna say, because I was gonna say, like, I recently like kind of changed what I did. So I have like a Google Calendar where I put everything on, and then I've got the other day I bought like this other planner that has like say Monday to Sunday, and it's not got like set dates in it. So say you miss a week or whatever. And then so what I've started doing is on a Sunday I'll like write down everything, like the classes that I have, because ours is like very different and it doesn't go onto our timetable naturally anymore, so he's like up, so like do that, any kind of social things, and then the night before each night I'll like write a to-do list for that day, And then sometimes I'll like change that to-do list as like the day goes on, because I'm like, wait, there's definitely not enough time for this.
Yeah, sometimes you don't, and sometimes it's just easier to see it visually.
Like 100%. No, I think so as well. So do you have any other tips, any other tips for just like staying organized in general?
I am quite OCD. I quite like to have things done, finished, and I like to have time to do them. So like if I know, like if I get told, right, this is a piece of work you've got to do and you've got 3 weeks to do it, I like to have it done at least a week before it's like actually due. Like just because it just makes it so much easier. Like as soon as you know about something, try and start it and get it done. Because as soon as you like put it off, there'll be something else you then need to do and something else you then need to do. So I like to do things kind of when I'm told about them, or if I come off with clinic and go, oh, I didn't quite get that, I'm going to go look it up now, because I'll forget about it and then I won't learn it, and then you go back on and you'll feel stupid that you didn't like just take 5 minutes and have a look at it, or there was something you learned or whatever and I want to put it in my notes. Like I try and do things as they come up.
Yeah, that's a good tip. I think as well, I like the one where you're saying like if you are in clinic and you learn about something, look it up right there and then, or as soon as you come out. Because I know a number of times I've been like, okay, I must look over that tonight, and then I just don't, and you forget about it. Like something gets your mind, you know, if you see someone else coming out of their clinic afterwards, you're like, oh. So yeah, no, definitely good to do that. I know sometimes like what people do is like they might have a bit at the back of their notebook and just write the things as they're like, say I'm going through in the ward and I'm like, okay, I don't know about that, I'll just write it down, and that's like a good way to kind of
I always like keep like a wee notebook that I can like fit in my pocket and just like it's always on you.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I've heard a lot about. Like a lot of successful people, they keep like a little notebook, like literally like this size, always around with them. And some people do it for like that kind of thing, or some people do it if they like think of an idea or something like profound. So no, it's quite interesting. So obviously you are a productivity queen. So what part of the day is your most productive normally?
I'm usually most productive when I get up, mostly because like I've not done anything yet, because I'll just get bored as the day goes on. So definitely I get up early and I kind of like, I'm usually quite good until about lunch. Then I have my lunch, and then I'm usually quite good when I come back. But then like between lunch and dinner, there's always that point in the day, and I'm just like, I could be sitting there for an hour and get nothing done, and then the same hour in the morning I'll get like triple done. So I usually go for like a wee coffee or like a walk up and down the street, or literally like 10 minutes on my phone or something, because I know if I give myself that 10 minutes, like even sometimes it's even 20 if you're just not feeling it, and then I know when I come back I'll be better.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. I have like a lull between, like I always say it's like kind of almost like when school ends, like you know how when school like
it's like 3:30.
Yeah, like I have it's just like really unproductive, and then so this is why like this is such a nice time to like do the meetings. But it's like a nice break, but you know, definitely like I really struggle up until dinner now, and I feel like I'm just waiting for my dinner. So yeah, no,
I feel that.
What time do you normally wake up at actually when you're trying to like during a uni?
If I'm in uni, I'm normally up about 7. If I'm kind of not into like the afternoon and stuff, I'll maybe like leave it to about 8. Just because I don't have that travel time, so my travel time's about an hour, so I can then get up and
so that's fair. What's your opinion on like the 5 a.m. start? Would you ever do that?
I think the main draw to dentistry was that it was 9 to 5. So probably not. I'm not really good in the morning. Everyone that knows me knows I need at least like 10 minutes of actually being awake before you even try to talk to me. Like, so I'm probably like 9 is the earliest start for me.
I mean, that's fair enough. I think there is like a massive hype around kind of waking up at 5 a.m. and all this kind of thing. And honestly, I don't know if there's just more of a hype around it rather than the actual benefits of it. Like if you're somebody that does not like waking up early and your body clock doesn't like it, like why force yourself in that uncomfortable thing? Do you know what I mean?
I think I'll be grump for the rest of the day.
Yeah, literally. And I think one thing that puts me off a lot is that I know that if you go to bed, if you're waking up that early, you need to go to bed a lot earlier. So I think you miss out on a lot of social things as well. Like imagine when it hits like 9. Sorry guys, bedtime. So
Whereas because I would say I get up that wee bit later, I usually like study up to like 9 and 10, like when it's exam season and stuff, and
Yeah,
even later.
exactly.
I think it's just how wherever you are like set, have that good kind of like shift.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we talked a bit about like when you're best productive. Is there anything in particular that like harms this flow, or what are your distractions and what do you do to try and minimize that?
Probably mostly my like phone or something. Like we have a lot of like SCTEP has a lot of guidance, and there's apps and there's loads of like dental stuff that I'll be like, oh great, I'll look that up, and then I'll like scroll through something else because there's a notification or whatever, or like a text message. So if I know I've got a bit of work to do, or I want to do it in like studying and like slots, I like put my phone in a drawer just so I can't see it. And then like when it is my break, I'll spend 10 minutes and then I'm fine, and then I go back.
No, exactly. And I think it's like sorry, this was just falling apart down here. I think when you're on your phone, you definitely forget, you lose your concentration on what you're meant to be doing. And like the number of times I've actually went on my phone and then I forgot that I was not meant to be on my phone, and I sat for like 15 minutes
and then I didn't even look up the thing I was meant to look up.
I put it down. I'm like, no, distraction. And I'm like, oh my God, I literally didn't even look that up. To like remind myself, I'm like, okay, Abby, you're meant to be looking up this, honestly.
It's always with like different drugs and things. I'm like, oh, I'll look that up. And then I go on and I'm like, oh, I've got a text message from Abigail, and then like, and then I'm just like
random voice messages. So obviously you've got like your phone, and that's kind of a big distraction for you. You mentioned about breaks. So do you do like a particular like 20 minutes, 10 minutes? How do you normally kind of structure your studies?
I quite like to have it like so I can count the hours. So I like start at 9, and then at 1:45 I'll have a 10-minute break, and then that gives me 5 minutes to figure out what I'm doing for the next hour. So I kind of do it like 45 minutes and 10-15 minutes of break, just because it just helps me like focus. I'm like, right, you've only got 10 minutes left, and then you can have a wee break, and then you're back.
I think that's
because I'm not one of those people that can sit down for 3 hours and just get it done.
No, and it's also not that productive at the end of the day. Like if you see like graphs of your concentration, like it literally just does this, and then you give a break, and then it's like kind of like that. But yeah, no, my mum used to always say that to me. She was like, start on the hour.
Yeah, it like again satisfies my OCD if it's like full hours and everything.
Yeah.
But even our lecturers have kind of implemented that, like after 45 minutes they stop and they'll just put it into the next lecture.
Yeah, we've actually had lectures where it's literally been going on for about 4 hours, and like the next lecture just comes in, the next lecture, and it's just like, oh my gosh, you actually don't take anything in at all. So
especially if you're just sitting in the one space, do you know?
Literally, I can't do this. It's like too difficult. So how do you prioritize what you need to do, like throughout the day, kind of thing, or the night before?
It's mostly like what needs done first. So what kind of like biggest project is coming up, or sometimes if it was like when I come to studying, it's like what I don't like the most I put first, because I'm most productive, so I'll get through it. Like even if I wouldn't have got as much done in the subjects I don't like, it's just easier to put them first and then they're out of the way, because otherwise I'll just dread doing them all day and I'll drag out the stuff I need to do, so I kind of don't have to do it.
No, I think so as well. And I remember a teacher once said to me, they were like, don't study the things you like. They were like, imagine an exam paper tomorrow when it had the thing that you would least want to be in there. That's what you need to study right now. And I'm like, I know exactly what I need to study.
The thought, you're like, oh no.
Yeah. But then once you've, I think the hardest first time you study something is the worst, because it's so new. But like that second time, that third time, it's actually enjoyable, because you know how difficult it was to actually get it in your brain.
Or you remember wee bits and you feel like proud of yourself.
I know, I'm just like,
you've got one bit right.
Genius over here. So obviously you said you did do you do like the bigger tasks first or the smaller ones? Like say you had to do something big or loads of little tasks, would you do something over the other?
I think if I knew I could get like a lot of little things done first, I'd get them out of the way. But if I had like a deadline that was closer, I'll do that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was just like wondering, because sometimes I find that I'll like do loads of little tasks just so I feel like, oh, I've only got one big thing to do left. So this is a question I really like asking everybody because I just think it's quite interesting. So obviously I'm competing in the Miss Universe Great Britain final this October, and I would find it interesting to know what one question would you ask like a finalist, for example, to try and choose the winner.
I think probably how are you managing to like juggle it in with like your studies, your clinical placements, and like medical school, like also your fourth year as well. Like why did you decide to put yourself through something that you've never done before and it's a completely different environment?
Do you actually want an answer?
Yeah. Question.
Well, I think firstly, I'm somebody that really, I think I thrive off of being busy, and when I'm not busy, I'm like very unproductive. I don't enjoy myself as much, so it's something that I really enjoy doing, and I really like enjoy trying new things and putting myself out there. So and I think at the end of the day, when you like something, like you make time for it, and
Yeah.
I think when you're busy, you realize how much time you actually have and how much time you waste doing other things. Like, for example, I can get through so much in a day, but then if I know I've just got one thing to do in that day, I'll make my whole day fill up with that one thing. So yeah, I think it's definitely just about like being organized as well. Like I say, like every day's like got all this stuff to do, and I'll just kind of do it like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think what you care about, you'll like make time for.
No, I think it's really cool, and I think definitely being completely out of your comfort zone and doing something on such a like open platform about it is really, it's like I didn't know half the things I knew about it, but like obviously just through you, I'm now realizing what it's all about.
Yeah, no, literally. I think it's been learning for me as well, because even when I signed up, I didn't really know what it really was about. So it's definitely a learning process as well. If you could give one message to women or girls, what was the one thing that you would tell them?
I think just you can do anything, you can do what you want to do, just put the work in and just don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
All right. I love
like
that.
you can do it. Like
That's so
you just need
good.
to believe in yourself.